I just want to say that here we are in Bouillon. Bouillon is a small, sleepy little village in Haute-Côte de Beaune, about, 15 kilometers from Beaune?
15 kilometers,
something like that?
yes.
And I remember coming here for the very first time in maybe 1983. Something, is that possible?
The memory of an 80-year-old is not reliable. So if you say 83, I will believe
Well,
you.
you know what? I'm 62 and my memory is not reliable either, but I do remember. And I remember one main reason for wanting to meet you was because ever since I started becoming interested in food and wine, I looked to mentors. I looked up to people who I thought were role models, if you like. You have an insight and vision of Burgundy like no one else. So when did you come to Burgundy?
1968,
Okay.
with my mother, my 2 children, and an artist husband whose last name was Wasserman. Settled into a village called Saint-Romain, while this place was being, sort of made livable, because what you were sitting in is a barn. It's not a house, it's a barn. Wasserman had always adored wine, had a cellar in Philadelphia, and so very quickly began to visit growers, certain growers. It's a very small band because not everybody bottled back then. And we were very friendly with some people who are very well known today, Aubert de Villaine, for instance.
Okay.
And he said to me, and I think I've said this often, Becky, what I love about you, and I was hoping my intellect or my ears or something, he said, is you wash and dry wine glasses better than anybody I've ever met. And the seeds of rebellion were planted.
Very good.
There you go.
Yeah, bonjour.
Ça va bien, toi. Il y a longtemps que je l'ai pas vu.
Eh bien, c'est vrai, vous vous cachez dans les hauts de Volnay.
Oh, je sais pas. Si je me cache, non.
Pardon.
Bonjour. Bonjour, Fred.
Comment vas-tu?
Ça va. Cheers.
Ça commence bien. Cheers. Cheers. Santé. Santé.
Santé.
Santé.
A marriage that was punctuated by frequent au pair girls, if you will, and knowing that this was not going to go on, and I needed to find some way of becoming financially independent. And the first thing I did, which was actually instrumental for me, Jean-François asked, because I'd been to California with my boys for a brief time, could you possibly think of selling barrels for me in California? First thing, learn about barrels. Go into the forest, meet the wood choppers, everything. Because I'd taken barrels for granted. There they were. Well, they did not have a soul, but of course they do. And it was that really, the kindness of California winemakers who took me into the vines, who gave me, that was my schooling. That was my schooling, and very quickly after that, the bottle, and Burgundian winemakers particularly, gave me my education on this side. So
maybe especially as a woman coming in, and how were you received, and what was that like back then?
Well, that I started really would have been in the 70s.
Okay.
In the 70s, because otherwise, we moved here in 68. I think I went to one tasting with Bart in Saint-Romain, got completely drunk and staggered back up the hill, and my mother got furious with me and said, you have young children, why have you done this? And because I didn't know how to spit.
Yeah.
I mean, in America, one doesn't spit.
Right.
You get put in jail, you get a fine.
Right.
So I would practice at home when I began to, try all of this, and I dribbled for the first several months. I mean, just went down my chin, and then finally I got the art of spitting. And then I had another job, which started me off. I became the saleswoman, if you will, for the Trois Gros products. But that job, you see, got me, again, another little way ahead. It actually taught me how to be commercial, because I'd never sold anything. I was a copywriter.
So
it was all in the method. I was very well received. Mm-hmm. Now, I knocked on doors. There were people who helped. For instance, my very first list had 5 Saint-Aubins on it. Did anybody want them?
Nobody knew Saint-Aubin.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody did.
Now they do.
It had Domaine from the Jura.
Okay.
It had, Volneys, and it was, I knocked on doors, or I looked in the yellow pages, or then people would say, oh, perhaps so-and-so would be interested. Because once again, get down to the very basic things. Export, what does it mean? It meant for the United States gluing a label on the back of the bottle. It meant doing extra paperwork. It meant thick cartons for export. It's not just, here it is, hi. Here I am. So it meant teaching, if you will, the culture of export. Les profs très durs avec moi, comme Hubert de Monti, qui m'avait fait déguster dans sa cave, vraiment en disant, OK, maintenant, c'est quoi le taille-pied? Tu me dis. Tu sors pas jusqu'à tu peux identifier les vins dans les fûts. J'avais eu un apprentissage très terre-à-terre. Ce n'était pas du tout gâté, si tu veux. But it was a combination of things, of course. Quality, but also a personal feeling that this was a person.
I think that's
The two. We found a letter that written in '76, which says, "Dear Mr. Lafarge, I've heard that you make wonderful passe-tout-grain."
Monsieur, c'est sur la recommandation de Monsieur et Madame Gérard Potel que je me permets d'entrer en relation avec vous. Je suis actuellement à la recherche d'un excellent passe-sous-grain pour une clientèle étrangère. Puis-je me permettre de vous téléphoner dans les jours qui viennent pour convenir d'un rendez-vous afin de faire votre connaissance et déguster quelques-uns de vos vins en attente du plaisir de vous rencontrer.
Effectivement, le passe-tout-grain était très bon et on a commencé
ça a démarré comme ça.
Exactement. Mais avec une condition,
Ah oui,
voyage...
une condition.
Oui.
Un voyage aux États-Unis avant qu'on travaille ensemble.
Avant
Ah oui.
Avant.
Non, mais j'étais exigeant. Et là-dessus, Gérard Potel, on est partis ensemble avec Gérard et toi.
If you take, when we moved here, hourly minimum wage was 3 francs, almost 4 francs an hour. Now you could, way back then, you could buy a number of wines, should you want to, that were Volnets back in '68. Volnay Premier Cru was 7 or 8 francs. So you would have to work 2 hours for a bottle.
Il y a une trentaine d'années, d'aller aux États-Unis, c'était très rare. C'est-à-dire, on n'y allait pas, les billets d'avion étaient très très chers. Aujourd'hui, on prend un billet d'avion pour aller à New York à moins de 500 €, tout le monde y va. C'est juste une simplicité.
Bernard Michelot qui était allé pour la tasse d'or, et quand on lui disait, mais vous étiez le domaine de Meursault à ce moment-là, commercialement, c'était lui qui vendait du vin partout, mais il disait, on n'y allait pas parce qu'on n'avait pas de sous, tout simplement. On n'avait pas les moyens d'y aller, les voyages étaient chers, et puis les marges étaient très faibles.
On avait envoyé des vins en Californie et une bouteille s'est retrouvée dans la Nouvelle-Orléans. Et on nous a dit, Russell était avec moi, mais il n'y a pas de couleur dans ces vins. C'est pas épais ces vins. C'est quoi ça? Parce que c'était pendant une époque où les vins...
C'était noir.
Oui, exactement.
Mais effectivement, pour moi, les vins trop colorés exigés pour la Bourgogne, personnellement, j'aurais tendance à nommer 2 responsables, Robert Parker aux États-Unis et beaucoup Michel Béthane en France.
Exactement. Le pire pour moi, par contre, était en Michigan, à Détroit, et c'était un dîner. Et j'ai fait les tiens, j'avais fait Gérard, j'avais fait Lafon. Mon dîner, c'était mon dîner à Volnay. Et il y a les hommes qui ont peut-être un peu trop bu avant le repas. Donc, ils commencent, ma cave, ça vaut X, ma cave, ça vaut X, c'est quoi ça? C'est quoi cette merde de Volnay? Et ils ont commencé à jeter les morceaux de pain. Et comme moi, je suis pas sportive, j'ai pas su comment il a fallu, donc boum, boum. Et enfin, c'était Volnay, tu vois? Au moins, il a fallu compter à peu près 10 ans de pèlerinage dans un sens. Burgundy is accused of being overpriced. I think it's important to remember that it's agriculture. I think that there are affordable Burgundies, but there is a sort of misinterpretation of what is the best.
Dans les années 70, personne ne gagnait d'argent, personne ne vivait bien, et il n'y avait pas de lumière dans la cave, et il n'y avait pas d'eau courante, et il n'y avait pas de... et il était hors de question de prendre un ouvrier dans les vignes pour soigner le travail.
Je pense que
Et à un moment donné, il y a eu une économie une situation qui était, un marché qui était plus favorable. Les vignerons ont commencé à gagner de l'argent et ils l'ont réinvesti dans leurs vignes et ça a fait monter la qualité et les vins sont appréciés.
C'était dans la Nouvelle-Orléans où on avait fait un dîner avec maintenant quelqu'un qui est très connu, c'est Emeril, et c'était le dîner. Et après ça, il y a un homme qui fait comme ça. Et il a dit, Madame, ma femme voudrait embrasser Monsieur Lafarge, est-ce possible? Bon, après ça, on avait eu au moins 8 femmes, et tu sais, ces femmes du Sud, belles comme tout. Et donc, l'une après l'autre, j'ai dit à Michel, il faut que tu embrasses les femmes. C'est comme ça.
Il y en a qui étaient bien quand même.
The young generation, you know, some of the youngsters are now 60, but they could travel. And their fathers or grandfathers did not. I mean, some people never even got up to Paris, as far as Paris.
Yeah.
So you just had a few, you know, of the very sort of top domains that where the owners or people would travel here and there.
Yeah.
But you had a whole generation suddenly going everywhere. And of course that changes. No other area has our geology.
No.
No other area does. And you know, if you take this great knife and you would cut down here and you'd sort of open and look and see what richness we have underneath the soil. It's extraordinary.
It's very special.
It's extraordinary. It's very special. It's a very exciting place to be, and I think winemakers from, wine growers from other countries love coming here because of this differentiation between Volnay and Pommard and all of that. Yeah. There will never be one style. It would be very sad that Burgundy, with all of its possibilities, ended up with Burgundy style. I would hate it, because I think what keeps my fascination is that there are a number of styles.
Then you had that generation of the Christophe Roumiers and Dominique Lafon and Patrick Bize, who had one foot in that, who were coming out of that era, and had the vision to, you know, really concentrate on the vineyard. And now you have this next generation who is continuing that work. And,
True. And perhaps who don't have to argue as much with their fathers. Because remember, you had some fathers would not get out of the cuvée, and some fellows only made their first wines when they were 50 years old. First time we can go in and do it, and that was often a subject of conversation. And now you have, of course, a completely different world where you have father and daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And daughter and daughter.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, all of that has changed tremendously. I don't believe in slamming the past or saying, oh, they did it all wrong or what have you, because they did what was, in a sense, appropriate for their time. I mean, when you had a particular critic who was, you know, rain, shine, sunshine, and what have you, people still had to sell. And because certain markets would only buy what had been given very high scores, if you will, they did do more extraction. They did make, you know, sort of heavier wines where, you know, Pinot in itself is. But look today at the joys of Aligoté. Look at this. People didn't consider Aligoté until you had incredible people like Pierre de Benoit, Michel, the Aligoté Dorés.
Yeah.
So there's new discovery in what was always here.
Chaque domaine a sa typicité, mais il est moins influencé par la demande des importateurs. La grande inquiétude pour moi actuellement, c'est la suite avec les valeurs actuelles des propriétés. Et si rien n'est fait pour sortir dans les droits de succession la transmission, on va à la catastrophe en Bourgogne.
The biggest change, perhaps, has been the media, the social media.
I was going to ask you
That's
about
been the biggest change, and It's rather like Andy Warhol. Everybody needs their 5 minutes of fame, except it's constant. I leave that to my team,
The new
my
generation.
sons.
Yeah.
Russell and I no longer go to the office. We're not awarded a desk if you're not computer sexy, and we are not. I do it from here. I do it from here.
Well, this group that's coming today that we're having lunch with is certainly has their feet on the ground, their head on their shoulders, and as much as they are superstars in the world of wine, I don't think they've forgotten what you've done for them and what the land has done for them.
But stop.
Okay.
Stop. These people, it's what they did for me, because I was how can I put it? My choices were not enormous. I had no money, as I was explaining to Amanda. I did not want to go back to the United States. I did not want to go to Beaune and live in social housing. I wanted to keep this place. What did I need to do? The only industry that Beaune had where I could possibly do something was wine. But they gave me a chance. And always, one of the strengths of this place is we are here. There's stone, there's oak. If something happens, they knew, and it happened several times, that if there was a problem, we were here. We would not skitter away. So this is a very important point.
La Bourgogne a eu une époque avant Becky et à partir de Becky.
C'est vrai.